And welcome to our international podcast, Below the Belt. Who vex lose, folks, today? The PPP bringing back interim management committees. That's where we meet. That's the level we are. Good to have each and every one of you. I saw Beatrice Selby very early. Candy Lean Indigits already got about 500 comments here on YouTube. Pace and power, boots on the ground, we ain't backing down. People, we got to fight people. Sunny and bright today. A shout out, Corriverton, Skellen. Oh, that's Candy Lean Indigit by yourself. Beatrice, happy good day to you. We know you out there. We can see you, and we gotta pull some of you in studio. We gotta pull some of you in studio soon, and have you. We need to hear from you. We need to get more in touch with our listeners. I love talking to folks, and we're so happy that you guys are here. Shoot a comment so we can give you guys a shout out. We're talking about how the PPP wicked, stinking dirty. How they bringing back these interim management committees, guys. Good to see Maureen Chichester, Paul, and Chiselle Chipper 68, and all the other fantastic folks who are joining us at home in the national capital city, Georgetown, at home in Guyana, and in the diaspora, guys. Welcome. Good to have all of you guys with us. And believe it or not, I have with me in the studio the one and only Gerito Finance, my co-host for the morning program FYI. Some people don't like home. They like home, just about.
Well, when you have so much
I ain't
work,
buying lunch till the gun.
when you have so much work to be done, especially today,
Use work,
it's
we work.
impossible to go home.
We work.
A lot of people don't know the amount of time we invest into
Yes.
doing actual work. A lot of people don't
Yes.
understand.
Yeah.
I wish if some people would actually be in our shoes for one day, or just walk alongside and see what is going on. Lots and lots of work.
Come on and walk along the water with me. Pull the one out there. Pull one. You see this part, the things don't walk out. I gotta fall back. That's what I want, I gotta fall back.
I don't know if
Don't
that's
play, I got to fall back. Stop it.
I don't know if it's gonna work out
Don't
either.
Oh, that's what he's doing, friends. She got
Only if friends tell you the truth. Don't worry.
No, the PPP are trying to bring you along to this, that thing.
Oh my goodness.
Don Fraser, good to see you, Don, and Yvette Wilford. Good to see you. Is it Viola Steed Innes? Good to see you. Orlando. Oh my Lord, the old eyes. Oriana.
Oriana Lord.
Yeah, Oriana. George, you can pull up the screen, bigger man. Oriana Lord, good to see you as well. And is it Tertia? Melville, all you fancy name people come out today. Today of holidays, I really gotta pick up back my spectacles, my specs. That being said, I see Vanessa De Silva's here as well, and Kyle. Over time you just know some names. As soon as you spot it, you just know them. You don't have to really look close. Like Pamela Sanchari, they always here.
Melville.
Tersh Melville.
Tertia,
yeah. Good to see you, Tersha. Tersha says, nice program, Sharon. Yeah.
Sherrod.
Yeah. Haters gonna hate Tersha. Haters gonna hate. Don't hate it. They're gonna hate. That's why I'm buying my lunch until they're gone. What are you folks having for lunch?
Independence of Women 2022.
Folks, I had
nobody buy lunch for us.
I had curry for 2 days in a row.
Oh, you try right
Oh yeah, my wife cooked a lovely curry. This one was a hit and I ate curry for 2 days straight.
Nice.
But I look at myself like cook up now.
Well, listen.
If I spitting yellow.
Oh my
If you cut my bleeding curry. Curry to my throat right now. But that's how it goes, This marriage got work, so I can eat curry. My more business. But I feel like some cook up. I feel like I'm like a lovely, wet, smoky.
I think Sherrod sent a message out
tripe. Like I eat tripe in the cook up long.
to Mistress Duncan.
The long time I need to let tripe cook up with a little salt beef. The way mommy used to make it. It's a long time.
I don't really I'm not too much of the kitchen person. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
John Doe, hope you're listening, my brother. Hope you're listening. She's not much of a kitchen person. I was watching. Is it Bridgerton?
Bridgerton.
You know a lot of kitchen people don't eat. But you gotta get things. If you're not a kitchen person, you have to get and duties to get with your things.
I do
Right?
everything else.
But it's not too far. It's not too long. John Doe, if you know this, not the thing you want a kitchen person.
No, then it's not gonna work.
You have a little time left. You got a little time. Both ain't gonna fall yet. You got a little time. Good to see Kim Walker and Nicola Daniel. It's good to see David and Dan Givesandi. All the folks who are so supportive of us, and we're so happy to see. Mark DeCosta has joined us. Mark, we hope that you're good and the sun is shining and bright at your end, Mark. Glycis Mingo Byrne. Glycis says, let me see, it's rushing by. I am not alone. I alone can help me out, Twitter.
Oh my God!
You know
it's not she alone can cook.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. True, true. I thought all I was missing from that curry was like a little mango. You know, the little mango in it.
I think it should be a capital crime to put mango in curry.
You think so?
Yes. Don't put no mango in my curry.
The not a kitchen person touching people curry. So you know, here's critics make the world a better place. Nonetheless, I think that would be a little. It needs like a little sorry thing there, like right there.
Not for me. Sorry.
Pace and power. Pace and power. Good to see you, Tassa, Isaac, Gravesandi. Good to see all of you fantastic folks who are joining us. Quite a few things.
Edward Gonzalez is joining from the Bronx.
Yep. Good to see Edward. Good to see Edward.
Tessa says a mango for fish curry. Okay.
Mango for fish curry.
You'll try, but I don't want fish curry then.
I don't really I'm not whether for or against mango and curry.
You're indifferent.
But that yesterday, the day prior when the curry was cooked, I felt like this one here, a little mango. I don't know, like it was a craving. So I want to say congratulations to my wife. Maybe it's the girl.
That's what I was just about to tell you.
It was a little craving. It's a little craving. So maybe, I don't know. But I think I closed off, though. That being said.
That's not a decision that one makes by oneself.
I've made an executive decision. Shirley Crichton, good to see you. Shirley, good to see you. Jackie Baird and Oren Newton. All the fantastic folks joining us. Marilyn Lorimer says, why are you messing with my friend taste buds? Put mango in any damn thing.
No.
Yeah, a shade of mango. Not much, a shade. Siobhan McDonald, we see you there on YouTube. Guys, you know, we want you guys to get accustomed to our YouTube channel. So, you know, if Facebook is down for whatever reason, I don't see YouTube going down so often, you know. Like YouTube grew up with some good black tea and tennis roll and some routines. YouTube don't go down. It's Facebook every now and again.
I just reading his comments about mango and curry and you know, Guyanese, as we say, edge my teeth. You know,
read some for us. Mango.
I want to think about
all that was missing was that little mango in that curry. You know, this thing. There's another level curry. There, mango and curry. I felt that curry. That was always I went to last night. More curry, me skin.
My God.
I enjoy that. And like it tasted better still. Mustard. Mustard. I'm not a big fan of mustard. I will only try anything once. YOLO. You only live once. You only live once, but once is enough if you do it right.
Oh my goodness.
That's what the saying says. You only live once, but once is enough if you do it right. Do it right, Rita. Eat little mango your curry.
No, I don't want it. You know, folks. You know, I was a little earlier. I was telling Sherrod about crackers, the calories in it.
Yes.
Sherrod was not having it.
See a rebel. We see the no, it's propaganda.
So there's a pack of crackers. Not gonna call the name branded. No promo here.
No promo here. Unless you're paying, then we got clear.
So the packet have the nutrition fact at the back that says serving size for cookies and the serving size of 4 cookies is 60 calories, right? Sherry said propaganda. Propaganda.
At least you could have a cheat day, because we try to be balanced. We try to get some workout done, you know, some exercise. We try to exercise the mind too, mind, spirit, body. That's the mantra. You know, you go to church, you're taking your spiritual education.
I try to follow that.
Yeah, it's really try to follow that. So I'm saying that you could have a little cheat day. So don't really cut it. No. And I told you, Rita, I said in our line of business, I don't think that can carry me. I don't think the carbohydrates can carry to the great beyond. I hazard a guess. It's not going to be the carbohydrates. You understand me? It's not going to be carbohydrates.
It's everything else,
Tricks.
right?
Everything else. Good to see Joylyn Nelson Brown and Facebook users. Who's this Facebook user? I don't know. I don't know. Y'all might get a bad name, the Facebook user. Pinky Richmond, we see you as well. And Kim Walker, we see you. Each and every one. Guys, you guys make the programs what they are. We are so privileged. We may be joined later on in the program by a guest from Barnica. We just may be joined later on in the program. Again, we're discussing today the PP bring back interim management committees, IMCs. They like this. They like good governance. This is what I like. Shut down everything, direct control.
Direct control.
Direct control. So bring back the IMCs. But let's
dictatorial leaders.
Figure out yourself.
Dictatorship
You see why you
altogether.
need carbohydrates? Is the carbohydrates lacking there? Good carbohydrates in your system, you're crisp.
I'm glad I'm glad it didn't come out how it was coming out. Just that was going to say something that is
That's
not.
for the late night. That's for the late night. I hear you, my sister. I hear you. Folks, believe it or not, the IDB, by way of news and information, flinging it your way, flinging it. The IDB says it may investigate its chief, Mauricio Calvo Corone, over possible relationship with a staffer and misuse of funds.
Wow.
Yep. The IDB.
Well, you know when
Again,
I read that, I don't know.
Might I read it one more time?
Read it one more time. Read it one more time.
The rush. You can't rush everything in life. The IDB says it may investigate its chief, Mauricio Calvo Corone, over possible relationship with a staffer and misuse of funds. There's a cute.
Could I interject at this
Yes,
point?
you may, ma'am.
Thank
Proceed.
you. So when I read that, the first thing I was thinking, that I recalled that they take it so seriously. A lot of developed countries, in the US, for example, it is taken so seriously, misuse of fund and public property altogether. That one particular guy that was working in the public service, so he was fired because he was assigned a government vehicle to do government work, and he actually used it to take his children to school. And that was considered completely wrong and misuse of public property, and he was dismissed from that. So when I read that misuse of funds, I was thinking probably the chief and the staffer, probably they went on a lunch later or so and utilized resources from the IDB to pay for that. All of that could be characterized as a misuse of fund.
The
But
folks serious there.
But Guyana, no. Oh my
The exception to every rule.
It's as though that would be a situation like persons would be. We have a system that is so broken. That people would want to see where is the wrong.
But so comfortable have we been as a people that can you imagine that locally you have, for instance, the general registrar of the general registrar's office, Mr. Raymond Cummins. He felt comfortable enough, for him and his girlfriend from the office to post on TikTok, how he loved her body and she really looking sexy and all those nice fancy things. That's quite interesting. And here they're saying that there's a conflict of interest if you are the head of an organization, you're dating a staff. People are so serious.
Well, it is a
But apparently
conflict.
that's not
It is a conflict of interest here also. We have a professional code of conduct that speaks very clearly on those matters. But in Guyana, I said we have a system that is so broken that we have young people that was born into a broken system. They grew up in this broken system. So in their mind, this is the system.
Dysfunction begets dysfunction. But you think, Jurita, if you got Attorney General who don't recognize Article 13, where you got to consult,
enforceable.
He says it's not enforceable. You think code of conduct making it?
I had to go listen to that to him say it myself, because I say, sometimes some things are misquoted. Let me go listen for myself. That's what was said.
And what's interesting is that in some places, these things matter to people. Conflict of interest. Don't mix work and your personal life. Hence, don't get involved with
don't misuse
staff.
your influence.
Don't misuse your influence. These things matter, but here, no. Nobody cares about that. So
Another Thursday.
if you could disregard the whole constitution and say the government don't need to consult with nobody, right? You think the government will consult with the code of conduct? So that is why if the top sets the pace, then the bottom will follow, and people think this is acceptable.
Important, very important to note, because the code of conduct is not something that, in for the most part, those sections are not enforceable by law, and all of that. It's not like a crime that you can go before the court and say that this is so. But we, like you rightly saying, if we have the AG going out there making statements that that is suggesting that you don't even have to uphold Article 13 of the Constitution, then what are we saying about the
Yeah,
code of
yeah,
conduct?
yeah. And you know, we're actually on the side of this argument because, you know, it might be a rite of passage, such is the society and culture that we have. If you mash everybody in the organization as the boss, something wrong. You
That's
understand
that's
me?
the way in
He
which
little
persons
funny.
elevates.
He little funny because
No, that's
right?
unacceptable.
Exactly. It is unacceptable. And that is why this stands out so much. Again, folks who are now joining us, we're discussing the fact in brief, as we just give some updates on what's happening with the news around us. The IDB, the International Development Bank, says that it may investigate its head, Mauricio Calvar Coron, over possible relationship with staff, with a staffer, and possible misuse of funds. As a matter of fact, this, if it had occurred locally, would never make the headlines. That's number one. And if it did, you'd hear it waiting a legal opinion for
There
three,
was
4 years.
nothing was said by government as it pertains to that video that was circulating in the public.
Absolutely nothing.
As though it is another day. That's what I was saying.
Another day, another dollar. And you know, all of the defenders of women's rights and so on, everybody goes silent when their people are involved. That's the point we're making here. That's the point we're making. So, you know, interesting to see where this goes. And what happens, because, you know, strangely enough, this has some implication. Quite recently, remember, you had the show-based issue. This was the organization. I think this the head of the organization too had some part with the show-based issue, not approving this contract. It's interesting. Marco Rubio had spoken. You know, they said he blasted the Biden government while his local entity didn't get this show-based project. Sometimes all these things is set pieces, you know, set pieces and setups for setbacks and so forth. You just never know when you're operating at that level.
Everything
right?
is a conspiracy.
Yeah. And you know, they say in politics, there are no coincidences.
None
Right?
whatsoever.
No coincidences at all. The other issue, guys, we wish to bring to your attention, folks like Jordan, Jasmine, Carmichael, and Marilyn Thomas. We see you folks, Shadell Moses and Andrew Cuthbert, Gladstone Matthews. We see you folks. We're so happy that you guys are here. We're so happy that you folks are here with us. The other issue that we are looking at, believe it or not, Trina, today is the International Day of Reflection on the 1994 genocide against the Tutsis in Rwanda. Believe it or not. Yep, the International Day of Reflection on the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi of Rwanda, which, of course, that iconic film is based, Hotel Rwanda. Yeah.
Yep. Most definitely. And what is most interesting about that is just a few days ago, he was actually he wasn't kidnapped a few days ago, but I think that the headline that we went through was the fact that he was sentenced to 25.
The star in the
Is it
movie.
25 years?
25 years. The star in the movie, Paul. I'm trying to let me see if I can pronounce his surname. Paul Rosabaginja. He was sentenced. He was a star. He was a hotel manager,
Correct.
which the film Hotel Rwanda is based off of, who is reported to have saved over 1,000 persons, giving them shelter in that hotel. And he has become a starch critic of the administration. And the guys are going to give me that in syllables. I want to call the fella's name right.
You want to call the name right?
I want to call it.
I'm not going to attempt to do it. I tried a few times.
Yeah, Paul Rosabaginga. I think it is Rosabaginga. Am I right? But that's the gentleman, again, credited with saving over 1,000 lives. He has become a harsh critic of the Rwanda administration, and they actually, quote unquote, kidnapped him in a foreign country,
Mm-hmm.
flew him back to Rwanda to stand trial.
For the acts of terrorism.
Acts of terrorism.
Mm-hmm. So that by itself, I believe that this story is far from over when it comes to the 25-year sentence for Paul. But I know that there are international bodies that is playing a part in that and is seeking to get to intervene on his behalf with that sentencing.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see where this all goes. Lots of international organizations have come out and said it's a sham trial,
Yes,
right?
correct.
A sham trial. And it's interesting to know. But one day you're up and the next day you're down.
Well, there's a lot to be said about the freedom to express oneself there in Rwanda and how that has been going. I personally I know a colleague, a good friend of mine that I actually studied with at the University of Guyana, that he did his studies over here and then he went back home, and he is actively involved in politics, believe it or not, over there in Rwanda. Cheryl, you often say that that when we were there, we did a lot of work, and he was here. He was active in the UGSS, University of Guyana Student Society, in university politics there.
Remind me of his name again.
And
I'm seeing
now
his face.
he is over it. Well, I can't even pronounce
I'm
the name that he goes
I'm
by
seeing his face. I'm seeing his
But-
face. I'm seeing
But
his face.
he is over there
Yeah.
in Rwanda, and he is active in politics over there
Yeah.
also with the I believe a part of one of the opposition parties as well.
Yeah. So outside of what is alleged here against this gentleman, Paul Rosessa Beginia, respect and manners, because what he did there is nothing short of heroic. He was risking his own life at great peril to save so many persons, but he did it because you gotta do what you gotta do. And boots on the ground is boots on the ground. So outside of what is being alleged here, respect and manners to Paul Rosessa Beginia.
Well,
Don't
right
you could
now
call
he's
it.
not. He's not feeling that. He's not feeling that
Yeah,
at all
yeah.
because he's behind
25
bars as we
years,
speak.
25 years, and he refused to partake in the trial. He said it was a sham trial, and he isn't having it. I like that kind of resistance, love it. And I'm so thankful for my university years, for our university years, because we met so many persons. We met so many persons there, from all walks of life. That little place, University of Guyana. Some people don't give it much credence, but it made us who we are today, much hated and reviled of the PPP. It made us who we are. Thinking back then, Drita, you had a lot of trench crappers and jagabats on the campus.
I love them. It was a good. It was
A
a
lot
good.
of trench. Yeah, but it made us who we are. Campus life and getting involved in campus politics, beating the, what was your party in the, what was it, C?
You never beat my
Student,
party.
student what?
USA, United Student Alliance.
United Student. I
That's
know
what-
it's some freaky name. I know it's some weird name. You can tell it's not PR people.
It's-
Whenever these economists try to handle politics, things always end up badly. You see this country? Things always end up badly.
A
Leave it to the
colleague-
law people, man.
A colleague
Shucks.
of mine,
Hmm?
interesting enough,
Right.
a colleague. of-
Even health sciences try, because Chelly would have been from the health sciences, right? And he tried, but the economists, some of the other social sciences do us great this year. Forbes was in social sciences, being an attorney and all that. But I don't know, the economists, I don't know.
I'm talking to you. We're on the podcast right now, and I just mentioned a colleague of mine, and I said I can't remember the name that he's on social media with, but someone else on our live feed is messaging me as we go along.
Tell me, I'll tell you if it's
And the person is telling me that he has changed his name a few times on social media because the president of Rwanda is said to be looking for him. So this is
So we can know his name or not? We get it. He
yeah,
had a
but
simple name. I know his African name, but his Rwandan name. But I know he had a simple name
a
too.
simple name.
I can see him in my eyes, right? But folks, as one advances in age and so on, and you're taking your Nutrifast every day and your ginkgo biloba and so on, and you eat your pumpkin, your memory. Then when you use a lot of Vaseline like me, your memory starts slipping. So yeah, I'm seeing the fella name, but it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. But again, that's one of the things we're looking at this
I
hour.
think the name that we knew him by was Enoch. Yes.
That was one's name. That was one of
Yes.
his names. He had another simple name too. I'm seeing it. It's right there. Kahundi, Chase Kahundi.
Yeah.
Chase, if you're hearing us today, my brother, respect and manners. We learned a lot from it. We were of different philosophies, political philosophies in student government. But at the end of the day, which is how it should be in national politics, right? At the end of the day, we all, love the experience. Chase Gahundi, respect and manners, respect and manners. Enoch Chase Gahundi, respect
So
and manners.
it's interesting enough to see how all our paths actually cross, and the people that were involved in
we must
student
have Chase
politics.
we must have Chase on the program.
I'll
to
reach,
talk to
I'll
us
reach
about
out
that.
to him. I'll
To
reach
talk
out
to us
to
about
him.
some of what's going on here. So, and again, folks, respect and manners to Paul Rosessa Virginia for the work that he did there, as a human being, looking out for his fellow human beings there and saving so many lives. And, it's surprising to see how politics can drive a wedge between people, like it did in Rwanda, the Hutus and the Tutsis and so forth. But I'm happy that they're making strides. Not nearly enough now, because look what's happening to Paul here. But we're going to continue following this.
I see Esther saying too much Vaseline make the memory slip out the head.
I think so. I agree with you. I'm trying to cut back now.
Oh my goodness.
That being said, the other issue we want to raise, the other item we want to raise, Nicolette Finance.
Oh,
Your
lovely.
family, the Panam Squash,
Sure, giving me family.
Nicolette Finance. You have the same color. Yeah, age straight. You have family. Nicolette Finance, Crown Panam Squash Queen, and Nicolette. We said the other morning she was our.
Yeah, well, I
Person of
had
interest, I think.
actually, yes, ahead of the the game, we actually did her as a person of interest, and we did say that she has been flying Guyana's flag very high. We're so very proud of all the work that she has done, and we wished her all the best. And I can tell you right now that she came out triumphant, and I think she has now become the first Guyanese, and generally male, female, she's the first Guyanese to win a Pan American Squash Championship title. So way to go, Nicolette Finance. Excellent
Yeah,
representation
yeah.
there, for women, for Guyanese altogether. You continue to
And
fly
for Portuguese people.
your flag very high. I don't know what Cher is talking about. All of us, we're so very proud of you.
Yep, I'm very, very proud of her. She's been dominating for a very long time, and squash needs a variety of people. Was the Commissioner of Police, Tim Hickens, who said recently? He said the police force need inclusivity, right? That's what he said. That was the right word. Inclusivity, he says. And so these sports, Portuguese people dominate a lot of these sports. I'm just being facetious, folks. But congrats to Nicolette Finance. Of course, she has worked hard, has had such a sterling career in this field. And they say people who can't get into politics, they play squash. So there's that. I'm just being facetious, guys.
I love, she
facetious.
was actually the person that I introduced me to the game altogether, reading about her in the news
As
and
family.
all of that. As Nicolette Finance doing an awesome job, and I think she has been quite an inspiration
She
to the
has been.
sport and
She
sport
has been.
altogether.
She has
been doing excellent.
It makes me
I
wonder
have a lot of respect for her, the game and everything.
It makes me wonder why have I never met Nicholas Finance. I've met a lot of people locally.
But
I,
you
I,
haven't
I
done
probably
what you
haven't
need
lived
to
this yet.
do, you know?
Haven't lived this yet. Yep. But congrats, Nicola. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you got us looking good out there. You got us looking good. God knows if it was me with this squash racket, I'd don't lose that much and put me to shame. But that being said, you do what you got to do. And we are so very, very pleased. We're so very, very pleased that you're doing what you got to do. That's what's happening, folks. The three issue, for those of you now joining us, the IDB says it's going to investigate its chief. Mauricio Calvo Corron is going to investigate its chief. And also, we've been following this. Today is the International Day of Reflection on the 1994 genocide against the Tutsis of Rwanda, folks. And then we're saying big congratulations to Nicolette Fanat. She's done fantastically well. Congratulations, being crowned the Pan Am Squash Queen. I hope they give her a little bit of money with that, and it's just not just words printed on the paper. Pan Am Squash Queen. Bring out the jewels, bring out the crown jewels, and we got to reward our sports people. Well, that's a slight problem that you have here in places like Trinidad, right next door. They got oil pumping. When you're a sports person, you're being paid by the states. You're being paid by the states comfortably. You think anybody playing sports there, going to 94 and got to be juggling that with, your love and passion for squash or tennis or swimming or something like that? Those people treat their folks very, very well. And we got tremendous resources here. When you come back with a gold medal, you don't even know if you're getting a little 0.5 of an acre of land to put up a 2x4. Now, we got to treat our people well. We got to learn to treat people well. We got to learn to treat people well, whether we in government and out of government, and especially people in government. Sometimes they don't feel they can be out of government. One of the things I want to see personally in my individual capacity, just like how you have a home that is called the office of the president, there should be a fixed location for the office of the leader of the opposition. This itinerant opposition leader office business, whoever come, they rent someplace somewhere, and a small staff that is assigned. And there's a small staff that's usually assigned. You got a budget, you can hire a researcher, secretary, and so on. But it should be a fixed location. There should be a plot of land that is dedicated, and there's a fixed location for the office of the leader of opposition. We are a wealthy country, and we got to stop this mentality that we have, right? Because you're out of office, you can give 2 or 3 vehicles to the office of the leader of the opposition because you feel they can campaign, and you want to do everything that prevents them from going the extra, from doing anything worthwhile. And I think that's something that needs to be looked at. They got lots of other issues, of course, but that's one of the things that needs to be looked at. All right? And we're going to be, as I did say, we will have somebody who is stopping by, who we can be talking with out of Bartica about what is happening there. Because believe it or not, yesterday, the Linden Utility Services Cooperative, which looks after the utilities in Linden, the utility company in Linden, for instance, like what do you call it? The electricity, right? That body there, they were summarily dismissed. And the PPP, the catfish install regime, they have installed, of course, an interim management committee,
Yeah.
IMC. This is what they love. They love these things. And in the previous dispensation, post 2015, they had a lot of IMCs. Where you have now regional democratic councils, they had IMCs. Where you had neighborhood democratic councils, they had IMCs. And it seems as though they're entering back into this phase, into this feature.
Well, the same woman, I think it was Debbie Passad that was in Linden, and she was scheduled to have a meeting with the Bartica Speedboat Owners Association today. So, as we were saying this morning, is that it appears that is what she's going there to do, to install an IMC. But we're going to hear live and direct out of persons that are within that association to see what went on in that meeting. I believe the meeting has just concluded, so you're going to hear from us first as to what
transpired in the meeting.
In that meeting.
And I just want to give folks a sense of who Debbie Passad is, because she's not an alien. even though some of the actions might convey that. But Debbie Prasad, ladies and gentlemen, works for the Ministry of Labor, which has supervisory jurisdiction oversight for these cooperatives, and she is the Ministry of Labor's Chief Cooperative Development Officer, and it is she who would have sent this letter all in one day. You dismantle the cooperative governing body in one day, and the same day you already had IMC, you already had persons handpicked. How strange is that? You go to listen to the complaint one day, and then you dismantle the IMC that same day. But we do have
Latoya, we're going to be joined by Latoya Schultz Norris, and she is one of the boat owners in the a part of the Bartica Speedboat Owners Association, Miss Latoya Schultz Norris, and I know that she would have been in that meeting that was scheduled to start at 10 a.m. this morning with a representative from the Ministry of Labor. So we were predicting this morning that based on the actions being taken by the PP administration, that we were predicting that an IMC would have been formed. That's what we expected. But we said also that we are going to be giving the details after that meeting. So this is after the meeting. So I think we have with us right now on the line Miss Latoya Schultz Nurse. I want to welcome you to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
I would love if she can give us a little more volume, one,
Yes.
and then two, give us a little background. What has been happening in the Bartica Boat Association that has preempted this move from the Ministry of Labor?
Correct. So if you can just be a little more closer to the microphone on the phone itself, Ms. Nurse, and just let the persons hear and understand what is going on there in Bartica and the Speedboat Owners Association.
Well, the Bartica Speedboat Owners Association is the guide of the down and comprise. But the past 3 years, the Bell take it over. Mr. Bell being the president, Mr. Clarence Bell being secretary treasurer, with Mr. Stephen Bell's son being a cook and being on the disciplinary committee. And all of these bells was in the brawl at the cell. Now, the brawl at the selling brought us to this. Because holding those executive positions and having such at the place where we conduct our business, we feel that they should have excused themselves or resigned. But Mr. Stephen Bell would have wrote the advisor, he taken some time and right back the vice and taken over as if it's a bell. Within the period of time, on the third, there was a meeting held by members because the members were pressed because we not having the bell. And was pressured very hard, so the act called a meeting. Mr. Bell was at the meeting and his brother was at the meeting as both owners, not as active members. At that meeting, a man asked, when are we going to have an election to move the Bell brothers from where they are right now? Because they are raping the association. And this is in the presence of the Bells. And all the members that was there, 37 members, voted by way of hands up to have a meeting on the 27th of March. That meeting is to dissolve the body, which was the president, and install a new body, which we did. And at the time, we've been bombarded by. Bear in mind, Mr. Bell, when he claimed he was a pioneer of this Bar Casinos Association, we didn't see the cloth, we didn't see. Bell is the president now, and his brother is secretary treasurer. We didn't see IFC, we didn't see, but when the members decided we're not having the Bell, no Friendly Society show up. So at the meeting today, they told us that they are going to install an interim. They wasn't asking us no questions about that. Well, as a boat owner, I told her, we're not going to have it. Because they said, identify with this new body that's formed because we are illegal. I asked her how. Because that association has, and it's registered under the Friendly Society. That is guided by. So now why you coming to tell that we had, it's invalid. And you are going to tell an IMC. No. Don't dictate for tigers. We're not having it in Bartico. We are not having it. We're not having it. Sharad, we're not having it.
Run them out. Run them out. So who are they proposing? Who is this installed regime proposing to be the interim body?
I didn't hear that clear.
Who is the administration, the PPP? Who are they proposing to have as the interim body?
Friendly Society said that they're going to write. No, if they didn't recognize us, then who are they writing to? Who are they writing to?
Mm-hmm.
Bear in mind, there were two sides in the meeting. There were the old body, which is the three Bell brothers. Christopher Bell, the big brother, Clarence Bell, and Stephen Bell. And on the other side was the president, secretary, church members. So it was already clear there. But I don't know, the blind cannot lead me.
Correct.
And my business is owned by the government. It's a private. So I told Madam, I'm going to sit and dictate what happens in the article on the water top. Because in order for my boat to flow, I have to get passengers. It's reduced from 3 trips per week to 1 trip a week. And now you coming to tell that, how you come in here and tell, no, we're not having it.
So they did not say who that they put in as the interim representatives on this body.
She said she's sending 5. Ask the question, Miss. Would any association be added? She said, I can't tell you that. We need to know. You can't just up St. Georgetown and send 5 persons here. This association is over 30. My boat service for 20-something years. So who you come from Georgetown to tell me what me boat? Joretta, we're not having it.
And chances are she came in one of your boats too.
So I'm trying to just get a clear path of what you said. You were saying that the Ministry of Labor sent a representative to Bartico for the first time since the PPP has been in office in August of 2020. Today, they sent a representative to Bartico because the Boat Association had an election and elected a body, and some persons, 3 people in particular,
3 PPP people
are not happy. So suddenly, the Ministry of Labor see it fit to send a representative to Bartico to dissolve that body and to say that they are going to be installing an IMC, and they don't know the names of the person that they're going to be putting on the IMC, but that's what they're coming to do. Is that what I'm hearing? I'm trying to just make sense out of this.
Correct, ma'am, correct.
How,
Bear in mind, this association been in existence for over 30 years.
over 30 years, the association in existence.
Labor came to Bartica to regularize anything at all.
Mm.
Now, I am not a lawbreaker. I to comply of Gaia, but it's owned by. We are coming under the Friendly Society Act. Yes, we are willing to come, but not to directly dictate. This is not. This is dictatorship.
You'll have to take them to court.
Dictatorship.
You're gonna have to take them to court.
Sit down and listen to both sides, and then you telling me this is what I am going to do. So what you say don't make sense. When you whole some you saying it making sense. We're not having it, sir.
My sister, I want to get you clear. What did they offer as the justification of why they're instituting an interim management committee?
I didn't hear you clear.
What did they say is the justification why they're installing this IMC, this interim management committee?
They said because it's managing wrong, the money is being stored wrong. At present now, Mr. Clarence Bell have 1.6 something, and quote, I have 1.6 something in a safety deposit.
But that's not your problem. You barely won 1 week old.
No, but no, I want to just make this clear because the person that she's saying is saying that they have 1 point something is from the body that was voted out. So are you saying that the money was never handed over to the newly elected body?
No, the money was never handed over. The stamp, the book, nothing was handed over because Mr. Clarence Bell said he is not recognizing the newly elected body. So he's holding on to that. And Mr. Bell, up to 2 nights ago, and in the meeting, identifying himself the president of the body.
Could I ask, how long have you personally had been a part of the association? How long have you had a boat in the association?
For 20-something years.
You had a boat there for 20-something years. So before this election of this new body, when was the last election before that?
2019.
2019. And the Ministry of Labor didn't see it fit
2 years.
to go up there since August of 2020. They did. And how, okay, let me ask this question. How long is the body supposed to last for? The elected body?
1 year.
1 year. So from 2019, they were supposed to have another election in 2020.
And the election that was missed, it didn't concern them to go and dissolve the old body and have an election. But they find it now fit when there was an election to go and dissolve because their people are not in. That is what is at issue.
That is what it is. There's nothing else. There's nothing else.
Bear in mind, the meeting that we held on the 3rd of March, the Bell brothers was there present and the sons, all the wrestlers was there.
So they were there active when the decision was made.
On the 27th, the meeting would have been held to dissolve that order. Them showed up.
So they didn't show up for the meeting that they all agreed to have.
Like when Putin have any way, he's gonna destroy. We have a Putin in Bartica here.
But my issue is what appears to be a collaboration at the level of the representatives at the Ministry of Labor and these individuals in Bartica there, the PPP RDC councillor, one of them being a PPP RDC counselors. So this is not a matter that nobody should be taking lightly right now. Absolutely no one. I want to ask another pertinent question to the association. I was made to understand that that there were several additional boats that were added to the association after August of 2020. Is that so?
That is true. That is correct.
And is that against the regulations of the association?
It is against the regulation of the association.
So did the association meet and make a decision for that to happen?
The PPP take it upon themselves to open the current system.
Open the torrent system.
The friends
Mm-hmm.
and the family. So we move now from 50 boats
To 68 boats?
We move from 3 trips a week to 1 a week.
So is there, oh my goodness, I want to ask another question. When you said that there was 1 point something million, well, point something million that one of the Bell brothers saying that he had in a safety deposit box somewhere. So was the association ever audited? The monies in the association, was it ever audited?
Mr. Clarence Bell, who is secretary and treasurer, was never audited.
Never once.
Never once, and he have the money where he said.
So is there any proof that it is there?
On the 27th, there were members who were eager to make payments.
Mm-hmm.
So the treasurer there, she, secretary treasurer,
Mm-hmm.
she had a receipt book and she issued same.
Mm-hmm.
She received 104,000.
Mm-hmm.
And don't want to imagine it told us to be.
Mm-hmm.
We have to hand that money over for Mr. Bell.
To Mr. Who?
For Mr. Clarence Bell.
Where is that? What law dictates that? If they said they dissolve the body and the body that they are referring to has not been in operation, well, is not functional since they were elected in 2019 to run for 1 year. Where is the law that dictates that? You know, a lot of times things are said, but if the law isn't there to back it up, then it cannot be followed. So that definitely I'll advise that legal advice be sought as to whether or not that is an action that could be followed.
Interesting times ahead.
From members, over 27 members out 85 members said they would have made payments to Mr. Clarence Bell and got no receipt. In the meeting on the 3rd of March, a young man, Mr. Chatterpot, sharing said, he said, I paid Mr. Clarence Bell and Stephen Bell. There was both of them were standing there. It was my turn, and the man told me that Mr. Bell said you haven't paid for the year, and if you don't pay, you both can't load.
Mm-hmm. So
he take out his $18,000 and give it to Mr. Clarence Bell in the present. When the young man bring up that issue at the meeting, the president turned to him, that's Mr. Bell, and said, haha, you get robbed, you get robbed.
Wow. And this is the person that I want to ask another question. I want to ask another question. Do you know, or would you be able to say why a representative from the Ministry of Labor went up there? Who organized or who asked Labor to come up there?
Mr. Bell.
Mr. Bell asked.
Mr. Stephen Bell.
He asked Labor to intervene in the Bartica Speedboat Association because of what?
Because he's no longer the president.
Yeah, frankly put.
Because he's no longer the president.
Frankly put.
And Labor responded promptly.
Where were Labor 3 years ago?
Yep. Yep. When all this is happening, no election in a little while, monies are not being accounted for properly under the bell, no labor. But the minute they're not favored by the members of the board association and are voted out, labor turn up. Interesting.
Well, I want clarity. I'm trying to get some clarity. So the representative from Labor, I just want to confirm that this was one Miss Debbie Prasad.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and she said that in effect that she at that meeting was dissolving the newly elected body.
She said she also recognized the newly elected body.
She's not going to recognize them.
No.
Did she say that she is recognizing the former body?
Not in plain words, but by asking the treasurer to hand over the money, the secretary to hand over the money to Mr. Beck, speak volume to me.
That doesn't make sense. And then she also said that she's going to write a letter to the new
She
body
didn't say to who. She said, I'm going to get back to you by writing. But to who?
to install IMC.
Which is going to be headed by the bells. Let's call it out early. The bells are going to be part of the IMC.
Well, what I can say is that
And the IMC will operate until they discern that they have the numbers in the Speedboat Association to re-elect the bells.
well, that all that could happen if it is allowed to happen by the boat owners
Yeah.
in the Bartica
Yeah.
Speedboat Owners Association.
Yeah.
And I just want to reiterate the point that I was making this morning, that these things are only allowed when the people involved
Correct,
allow
correct.
it to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't see all the other boat owners, because based on what I'm hearing here, there were three persons, all bells, that was on one side and everybody else on the other side of this meeting. And I cannot see and comprehend that any path forward with those persons not speaking up for themselves and not saying that we will not accept this. We have been operating, we have been following the law, we have not been doing anything illegal, and we will not accept this being forced upon us. You understand? So I am going to be following this very, very closely, because everybody that knows Bartica is my home. So this is something that concerns me, and it concerns everybody that utilizes the Bartica speedboats to traverse from Bartica to Parica back and forth. So most definitely answers need to be had. And I think one of the things that I can advise at this point in time is that correspondence need to be sent from the Ministry of Labor stating those decisions that were seeming decisions that I am hearing right now, because a lot of times a lot of things are just said word of mouth and it doesn't it's not recorded. So correspondence need to be sent.
I agree.
Interesting. My sister, what would you, having come out of this meeting this afternoon and knowing what you know now, what do you tell the people of Bartica? What do you say to the people of this country?
Mrs. Uncle, I'm not hearing you clear. I'm hearing directly clearer.
Well, Cheryl was asking that, given all that is transpiring there right now, what would you say to the people of Bartica and the people of this country?
From my standpoint, we are being bullied by all in Bartica. And I am saying that we're not going to accept it. Because our business is private. And we are going to sit in a meeting and you will have a follow-up from us. And you get back to them, because we're not going to sit down and allow them to come and tell me where in my house to put my light switch. No way. So we're not having it.
No, rightly so, rightly so. And the folks that are joining us, we have been discussing the fact that persons about the return of IMCs, and here we having it a little more. This
Clear as day.
this situation is even more bizarre because we're being told here that the representative from the Ministry of Labor, Debbie Passard, traveled to Bartica this morning to have a meeting with the newly elected body for the Bartica Speedboat Owners Association, and she has been said here by someone that was in that meeting, a boat owner, a part of that association, as she said that she is not recognizing that newly elected body, and that she will be replying to them in writing to say who will be or the representatives, the 5 representatives on the IMC that the Ministry of Labor will be installing. Basically, that is what we are hearing coming out of Barty, given no true reasoning and justification. And this is after 2 years after the previously elected body was supposed to have had a new election. So a lot of nonsense, and I dare say this is the actions of the PPP, and this particular action should be met with resistance by the Bartica Speedboat owners, because as the young woman, Miss Latoya Schultz Nurse, is saying here, that you can't just show up and tell her where to put her light switch in her house. No, they have been working there. She said she had a boat in that association for over 20 years, and no one came to speak and to represent from the Ministry of Labor. And suddenly, because one particular individual, well, 2 have been voted out, the Bells, then suddenly, and that individual, particularly Mrs. Stephen Bell, being an RDC councillor for the PPP, suddenly the Ministry of Labor is there not to intervene to get a resolution, but to pass dictatorial orders and statements saying that they are here to dissolve and not recognize. And further, they will be put in the IMC, and basically no consideration to any discussions or any conversations with the owners, the boat owners within the association. That is what is going on there in Bartica right now.
Wicked, stink and dirty. Latoya, thanks for coming on in such short notice and sharing this information with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Very much more of me, Sherrod.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Norris. We will get in contact with you again to be updated.
Yeah, we have to get a follow-up. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Sherrod, welcome to Bartica, all expense paid.
Great. I come in, why not come in? Boots on the ground, I come in. Thank you so much. Great. Folks, that was boat owner Latoya Schultz Nurse. Great to have her. Great information, valid and credible. You all understand what the folks doing now? Wicked, stink, and dirty. Once there's an election and people don't get elected, you see what happened? They go for overturn the whole thing, right? And you see them calling Mayor and calling Ralph Gonzalez, who get his head bust the other day, and all of them, it's like them calling Labor. It's like Stephen Bell them calling Labor to overturn a whole election. That's what they know how to do best. Right? That is representative of what happened in the last election. Right? Day Labor was the OAS, was Ralph Gonzalez, was Mia Motley, and all the rest of them to come and overturn an election. And they just try to do that in Bartica, and only time will tell if they're successful.
Well, that is not.
Only time will tell.
Well, based on the comments from that boat owner there, that is not being that will not be accepted as is, because you could do.
And you see, this is why we call them installed.
Yep.
Right? They want to be called a legitimate government, but they keep doing a whole host of legitimate things. The very AG said they don't have to consult with nobody. The constitution not enforceable. What madness is this in this country here?
Absolutely impossible. Absolutely impossible. You do not go and meet a group of people who have been operating, managing their own affair, people that and the it's quite strange that one of the things said by Miss Norris there, she was reporting that they were saying that the association isn't operating as should. That is an indictment on the Bells. That is an indictment on Stephen Bell and Clarence Bell. They are the ones
wicked, have no character, no integrity.
And it's very interesting that I just heard
When you
after an association was in operating for so long, it is crazy to think that in 2022 the treasurer, which was also the secretary, reported, as Miss Norris just said, reported at the meeting that he has $1 million in a safety deposit box somewhere.
Yeah. For the association, and that don't concern the cooperative society.
He's basically saying that there is no record of it if you're saying that it's in a safety deposit box.
Mm-hmm.
And she's also saying that persons were not given receipts when they're paying their
and that don't concern Miss Debbie.
It doesn't concern Miss Debbie Passat, to the point that Miss Debbie Passat is telling the new body that the money monies collected
must be given to the same people.
To be put nowhere. Right? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. How do you justify that? How do you justify that?
Scamps and thieves.
My goodness.
Jagabats and trench crappos. That's what's happening here, folks. You see what we got out here every day? Getting you guys the valid and credible information. This is what I don't want you. You think you can see this on NCN? You think you can see this in the Chronicle? In Newsroom? In DPI? You think you can see this there? How they're riding roughshod over people's rights? A duly elected body. But they're using every trick in the book to bring back their people because they want their influence in Region 7 and in Bartica. That is what this is about.
But the people of Bartica need to wake up and see what is going on there. Wake up and see what is going on there.
Next thing you know, right on your nose, you got an IMC for the RDC. And you got an IMC for the
how is it? No, I can't get past the fact that the treasurer is saying that the money is in a safety deposit box, and the representative from the Ministry of Labor that is up there, not just don't bother, is to tell the newly elected body she's not recognized, and they should take the money that they collected, the 100 and how much thousand, and give it to this person to put where. There is no accountability for the money at all.
What is supposed to be attracting the attention of the Ministry of Labor and the Chief Cooperative Development Officer clearly not attracting their attention. Their attention is fixated on putting we people in position of power because we must maintain control at all costs.
Even if their people is 3 people, and the other folks are 30-something folks, 30-something of you. We don't have time with that. This is our 3, so whatever they say, we're going to do what we have to do to get it their way.
Yeah, and these are the people who at 5 o'clock will come and tell you, we're interested in the rule of law and good governance and transparency and accountability. Same folks. Folks, that's our time here, unfortunately. Good to see you, Claudette Bobbin Lewis and Gary Greenidge and Ingrid King, Beatrice Selby. Good to see each and every one of you. Folks, I don't think we could make a case stronger than this. Why we have to be out here, out front, with the information, valid and credible. You want to hear me talking nonsense? We bring in the people who are being impacted by the foolishness of the PPP directly to you. We out here. Folks, this is what being out here means. Ensuring that you're informed. You know what the issues are. You know what is happening. Because if you don't see it on NCN, you might say, everything nice and beautiful. But you don't know. Then people say the whole set of propaganda. Right? They'd rather show 10 hours of happening in Barbados than show what's happening right here on the ground. Right? They're not interested in that. And so I'm going to make the pitch again, guys. Make the pitch again. Help us to keep us on air. Help us to keep us out here, out front, providing valid and credible information.
Yep,
Right?
yep.
We get a 1.6 in no bank account, sit down, no way. Everything goes back into these programs to keep them alive, to keep them going.
It's not in a bank account. The
Or a
money.
safety deposit box buried in somebody's backyard someplace.
So
Pay some
clear.
power, pay some power, pay some power, pay some power. We want to do these programs more professional for you guys. Bringing the information for you 24/7. Every day of the week, 24/7, news and information for you folks. Help us to do that. Come on board, partner with us. We got Cash App available. You know, I think some people sometimes embarrass. You know, they can't send maybe 20 US. Send one if that's what you got. Right? Send $100 Guyana, send $1,000 Guyana, if that is what you got. It helps. 11.E, make damn cross the kanji. 11.E. Right? Folks, we gotta do what we gotta do. We gotta do what we gotta do. Things coming to head. Stay vigilant, stay militant. We got Cash App, we got PayPal, we got Zelle. MMG, we are also available via MoneyGram, via Western Union, folks. Come out. Partner with us. Stay out front. Share the live stream. Share the broadcast. Credible and valid information. A lot of folks know what's happening. Right? A lot of folks know what's happening. And we got to start a revolution in this country and take our country back together. Move this country forward in a positive direction. When last year I hear something like this, in 5 years of the previous administration, y'all hear any foolishness like this? Y'all hear any foolishness like this? Since them boys come back, they are not even qualified to run a corner shop. The amount of skullduggery they have done in 2 years repeal anything Apnu AFC had done. If you think you had it bad on the Apnu AFC, how it looking now for we? Your life better since 2020, March 2nd? Is your life qualitatively better? You got more money in your pocket? You feel proud as a Guyanese? When you hear all this foolishness happening, you feel nice? You say, or you say, oh, it's we buys them. But I'm certain PPP supporters in Bartica will be disappointed in the way this thing has played out.
Definitely.
In the vote association.
Definitely.
Right? Might is not always right. This thing what you all did, it is wrong. That is corruption. Happened today because the all fours get voted out. You so want them in charge. Why you can't do things in a diligent way? Build back yourself. Rehabilitate your image. Make the people want you as president. You come here, force yourself. Much like these trench crappers and jagabats force themselves on this nation, and then forcing people every day. Recognize me as legal. Recognize me as legitimate. Jagabats and trench crappers. Folks, unfortunately, that's our time. That's our time. Good to see you, Claudette Bovey Lewis. Good to see you, Glycis Mingo Brown. Good to see you, Maureen Chichester Paul, Carl Millan. Judy has a final word.
Well, my final word is going to be that this situation in Bartica is far from over. That is my final word, and we will be bringing you coverage of it every step of the way. We started the discussion from the inception, and we will continue this discussion all together.
We read it right from day one.
Yeah, because it was so easy, and I see credible sources put out an article even before the meeting was had, because we knew exactly what was coming. Because when persons are corrupt, they play by one corrupt handbook, and there you heard it yourself from someone, a boat owner within the association, actually speaking after the meeting, saying every single thing that transpired, and what a disgrace, what a disappointment altogether from the Ministry of Labor, instead of doing what is just and right by the people of this country, the people of Bartica, going there and trying to be dictatorial and handing out laws and rules just because their 3 persons were not pleased. And that is being met with resistance from the other boat owners within the association. Rightly so. I encourage them to continue to have resistance to any force of that nature.
What a dark day for democracy in this country. What a dark day for accountability. What a dark day for good governance. But I did say the final word goes to Judy. So Judy, please say at least one final word so I can be a man of my word.
I am going to say have a
Stay
good
safe,
day.
guys.
Have a good day, guys.